Hey there, girlfriend. Super excited to be here with you today. Have another amazing guest for you. We're going to talk about the secrets of a well-dressed brand. We know that this is going to help you in your ventures, whether you are in the corporate field or an entrepreneur. You know, the brand is everything. So let's get down to it and we will see you on the other side. Hey, Toy Girl, I'm so excited to have you here today. Before we get into the secrets of the well-dressed brand, we want to find more about you, girl. Who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. As you said, I'm Toi Sweeney. I'm the founder of a company called The Well Dressed Brand, author of a book called Secrets of a Well Dressed Brand, where we talk a lot about your perceived value. And what does that mean? So when you are a well-dressed brand, you are branding with your whole self. It's about your personality, your image, your mission, your vision, all of you kind of packaged together, going out into the world so that you can be that trailblazer, that disruptor, and someone who carves a path on her own terms. And looks really good while doing it.
Great, I love it. I love it. So let's get right into it, girl. So when it comes down to this well-dressed brand, tell us why that is truly important outside of what you already just said.
I think that, when we think about personal branding today, first of all, we have to consider something that maybe some people may know, some people may not know, but Tom Peters coined the phrase personal branding 27 years ago, nearly 30 years ago, in 1997 during a Fast Company article.
Okay.
And in that article, he talks about, he gives this battle cry, and he's like, now is the time for us to really consider that we are the chief marketing officers of a brand called You.
Right.
And what he talked about was, how we need to kind of self-package. And so I can't even believe that he was telling all the things that we're living out today and the things that we're doing and how personal branding has become such a buzzword. He was talking about this nearly 30 years ago, which still completely blows my mind. And so I think that a lot of it has gotten lost, right? Because you hear a lot of people regurgitating the Jeff Bezos, like it's what you say when you're not, people say when you're not in a room. And it's so much more than that. It's so much deeper than that. And really learning how to do it can, of course, make you an expert in your field. We know that. Of course, you want to be that go-to person. Right. But a lot of times, even now, if you're feeling stuck in your career, you may need to look at your personal brand. Even in your personal life. I mean, we know that success is an inside job. Right. The way that the well-dressed brand looks at the personal branding is not only magnifying that image component, because for so many years, everyone, the way even the book was written and got started, the idea behind it was because I was listening to all of these branding podcasts and everyone was talking about all of these different things. And then I was sitting there like, no one's talking about the image perspective of this. And now today, when everybody's talking about it, I definitely was one of the first 7 years ago to start talking about this and saying, hey, there's something about, what happens when you get dressed. Right. And so in the Secrets of the Well-Dressed Brand, we're talking a lot about even the psychological component of what happens when you get dressed. And so all that to say is that when you're talking about personal branding, it's a lot deeper and wider and more vast than most people really care to or just can address. And we like to talk about it and take those deep dives at the Well-Dressed Brand.
Awesome. So how does that relate to, I guess, what is in style? Because I know we're bringing into the fall season where there's a lot of fashion changes going on. What's the in color? What's the in style for the fall season? How does that play into you just really rocking your uniqueness and your true brand?
So one of the things that I don't focus on is trend. I care more about my clients being relevant. And so obviously, as I'm a marketer and a fashion stylist by trade, I used to own a couture level evening wear company as well. And so it's important that, of course, all of us keep up with the trends, but we want to look at it from a perspective of being more relevant.
Right.
Because just because something is in trend, it doesn't mean that it is the right color, style, silhouette for you.
Right.
So we focus a lot on what's different about you. And just really the most important thing that I ask my clients, and I consider this before I'm getting dressed, before I'm getting on the podcast, is I want you to think about what you want to say. So for example, denim on denim is really big right now. Drop earrings are really big. Black is back in a major way. Some people don't like black.
Right.
If your brand colors, or as you're starting to build those things, and again, going through what you want to say. So that's what we really focus on, just to answer the question. We do not focus on trends at all. We think about more of what you want to say, and if that happens to work with what the trends are, like, again, you want to be relevant.
Right.
Because what happens when you focus on trends is that you get those people that all of us have seen, and it's just that it's too much going on. It's too many trends. They got the high-low skirt, the wedge sandals, the big earrings, the fringe jacket. It's leather. It's this. It's that. It's lashes. It's nails. It's and it's considered like too much.
Right.
And that may not be for every situation that we're in. For example, that's not going to be something that we're going to wear to the gym,
Exactly.
right? That may or may not be something that you want to wear if you're part of an organization that raises money for children,
Right.
or something like that.
Right.
So really focus on, what it is that you want to say, what you need to say in the various parts of your life, and then the colors and the relevance follows it, because it has to be relevant for you. One of my really good friends that I talk about all the time, her name is Leah Valencia Key,
Mm-hmm.
and she has an accessories line. And if you've ever met her, or if you guys look at her Instagram, she is in yellow every day, all day, 365 days a year.
Okay.
And so when you look at her brand, it draws you in because it's the color. Yellow is the color of intellect. It's the color of creativity. And so, well, orange is the color of creativity, really. But it draws you in. I've been at events with her. I'm typically in all black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because black is the color of authority. I have my pop a red lip. That's my signature. That's about determination and ambition. So that's kind of how it works, is that these are things that are relevant to me.
Right.
That's something that's relevant to her. Yellow may not always be the trending color, but it is relevant to her and her brand and what she wants to say and how she draws people.
So when you are working with someone, it sounds like your color is black, hers is yellow. Are you using the color wheel to decide on exactly what colors look good on them based on their features, or how do you determine what that color is, or is that something that the person determines themselves?
No, so I don't necessarily use the color wheel. I am a fashion stylist and an image consultant together, but everything is viewed through the eyes of marketing.
Okay.
And so I would use the image consulting portion of it, right? And I'll go, okay, here's your skin color, your eye color, your hair color. And based on that, here are the colors. Here are the 30, 40 colors that you can and should wear.
Okay.
Based on that, I'm going to narrow it down from a marketing perspective to about 10 colors.
Okay.
I'll give you, it usually is about 6 or 8. Sometimes I'll give them 10, depending on, again, what we're saying, what we're doing.
Right.
And so you're going to have maybe, like, let's say 4 or 6 neutrals, and then 4 or 6 brighter colors, or whatever colors that we're going to work with. And then within that, maybe 3 of those would be your brand colors.
Okay.
So either it's burgundy and pink and gold, or it is white, black, and cobalt blue. Mine is red, black, and white. So we're all across my social media platforms and my newsletters and everything. When you see me out in the world, I'm typically in one of those 3 colors.
Right.
My offices is that color, because in that, back to the branding and marketing aspect, we want to be consistent.
Right.
And so that's how I determine the color. So I'm going to look at your skin color, your eye color, your hair color, and go. Here are all the colors that you can wear. The client may not ever see those 30 or 40 colors. I do give them like a snapshot of like maybe 20 of them, and then we just keep narrowing down. So as I'm creating a branding deck for them based on their lifestyle, so if they're someone who works from home,
Right.
and they're doing a lot of Zoom calls, and a portion of their branding deck will be like, here's what you wear for Zoom calls. And in that, it would be, a bunch of blouses and jackets or whatever, depending again on what they're doing,
Right.
in a very niched out color scheme for them. And then it just keeps going. I had a client that we had to take her from desk to the soccer field. She was a vice president, and and she and it's hot where she lives.
Right.
And so, we did like a strapless, romper, in a fabric that was like that was a little bit dressier.
Right.
But she can throw a blazer on and take meetings with her CEO. And then when she's done with work, that goes off. She throws on her sneakers, a baseball cap, and she's out on the soccer field, and things like that. So I do a lot of, again, transitional things. But that's how we're choosing the color and the silhouette. Everything is really, really determined by the person. It's custom to them.
Right.
And what they want to say. We use color to send that brand message. Then of course they have to be comfortable, and then we just kind of again pull out the things that are going to be unique in that way.
Love it. So you're looking for more transitional type of pieces. I guess that's why it makes sense not to do the trends, because the trends are not going to let you be transitional in that way. So that totally makes sense. Totally.
Yeah, I think that's just my personal kind of view on it from a styling perspective. I just think that makes more sense for most of us to stop living so much in the seasons that you have. And plus, let's be honest, it is a pain in the butt to have to, especially if you don't have the space to do it, to keep switching out your closet every season.
Right.
So if most of what you're buying is transitional, then that's a little bit less of things that you have to switch out. Like, of course, if you're a person that likes linens and silks and things like that are typically associated with spring or summer,
Right.
then of course get those pieces. But if your whole closet is summer, and it's going to look different, of course, if you live in the South versus, the New York or Connecticut or something like that. We're in upstate. So, we have very short summers, as opposed to 3 years ago when I lived in Houston. I was in shorts every day.
Right.
And so now I barely even touch the container of shorts because, the weather here changes throughout the day.
Right.
It can be cold in the morning, and by the afternoon you're stripping off your clothes, and then by the evening you're freezing. And so so of course all of that is taken into consideration. If you travel a lot, then that's taken into consideration, and how you have to set up your closet. It's so important that you have a brand right closet, and that your closet moves through the variations of your life as well.
Okay, so now you got me intrigued. You got to tell me a little bit about that. How's the closet coordination going?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's so important. Like, you should have a portion of your closet. Again, think about, like, map out your life.
Yeah.
Are you spending, and you're saying like, okay, I need to have a workout section.
Yeah.
I need to have a Zoom section. I need to go have a coffee date, session on a meeting, or, if I'm going to meet with clients or potentials. The day I'm going to hang out in Starbucks and just work on my book. What do those days look like?
Right.
What do they represent? And so I think that it's important to kind of section off your closet in that way. And that's where that color comes in, where you're only working with 6 colors, because it keeps you from overbuying. It's going to, of course, cut down on decision fatigue, because you only are working within those 6 colors.
Right.
That is all that you have. And then when you need to go, like, okay, that you're on a Zoom. Like today, I was like, okay, I'm on a podcast. Let me go to that podcast section of my closet.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, what blouse am I going to wear?
Right.
And things like that. And I have to consider, of course, my background and things like that. And so, yeah, your closet should be the same way, because your brand is always moving with you. It's entering those rooms and that Zoom or that whatever before you even open your mouth. So take something that's as simple as, going to the gym, or going out for a walk or a hike, or going to your kid's school. Oftentimes, as soon as you walk in the door, someone is taking you in.
Right.
So are you sending the right message? And you have to decide, we work with our clients and I say, what do you want to say? What do you want the person to think and feel when you come on screen, when you say those different things, and when you are being able to say those different things through your wardrobe.
Right.
And that's what got me so excited about the Secrets of the Well-Dressed brand, because we just really niched down into that psychology of color and just understanding again what's happening in your brain when you're putting on certain things. And so do you want to be in 8 seconds, somebody is deciding just based on you walking in the room or coming up on camera,
Right.
if they know you, if they like you, if they trust you, if they think you are promiscuous, if they want to do business with
Exactly.
you, like all of that, they're deciding in a matter of 8 seconds. And so you can't build a relationship in 8 seconds. And so your wardrobe is such an important part of being able to honestly build those relationships and draw people in right away.
Right.
And so that's where that uniqueness has to come in. It has to come in, because otherwise then you become a commodity and then you're just like everybody else.
Right.
And then you get ignored and then no one wants to work with you, hire you, do business with you, etc.
No, I got it. Totally. So how does it work like when you are working with introverts? Because oftentimes introverts are not ones that like the small talk. So how do you tailor their dress where they're attracting more people to them, where the people are going to come to them more so than them having to come to the other folks?
There was a time in my career where I thought that was an issue. And this year specifically, I've worked with more within the Fascination Advantage system. It's a lot of the personality type is not the type, but the mode of communication is called Mystique, and they're just more listeners.
Okay.
And so, but they're brilliant. And so I think that what we do is, because I'm thinking about all the different ones that I know, that's why I'm like, what do we do for her and her? And so, but a lot of them like color and they do like, other things. And so I think that it just depends on the person. If you're out somewhere and you don't want someone coming up to you, that's typically okay. But most people don't mind a compliment. They just don't want somebody having that long conversation. So one client that is, an introvert but her favorite color is cobalt blue. So her nails are usually blue. So that's a point where somebody would comment. People are always telling her, stopping and saying, oh my, that she's beautiful, because she is. And, so a lot of times I think that if you're getting an introvert to talk about something that they care about or something that is interesting to them, it doesn't necessarily always feel like an exhaustive mode of communication. But I would also say that if you are someone that really like that is your thing, I say make that part of your brand.
Right.
Like make sure that your drinking cup is like, listen, introverted loading, or like, please don't talk to me today. Like it's okay to make that again like funny and just a part of your, if that is truly genuine to you,
right,
and a part of your personality. Those are the kind of things that set me on fire. Those kind of quirks and that truth, that genuineness, or in your world, that authenticity.
Yep.
Comes across that says, listen, I don't want to talk to you today.
Right.
And own that and be okay with it. And so those are the type of things, like I said, it's a very custom experience, because those are the type of things that we will weave into your personal brand. Your email signature is also part of your personal brand.
Right.
So a funny quote about introverts and have that in your email signature, And so there's a guy on Instagram, I can't think of his name right now, and but his whole Instagram, he has a whole t-shirt line and hoodies and the whole thing. He does these quick videos about being petty, and I think it's called like the Petty Society or something.
Oh wow, love it.
And I am not someone that I'm not petty at all. My husband we were just talking about this a couple months ago, and he said something to me. He just jokingly was like, petty, and I said, you know what? I am a lot of things, but I'm not petty actually. And he said, you know what? You're not. And we laughed. But I love this guy, and I follow him, and I crack up because it's just who he is. And I think that if I were to reach out to him, he would consider himself an introvert. But he has built this like petty nation.
Oh,
And and it's just like, you want to talk about, like, I need to maybe incorporate him in my new book, because he's really built a brand around just how, it's called I Don't Give an F Fridays. Like, he's just petty. He's like, I'm gonna come with you with that same energy, like
right,
everything.
right.
And the things that you probably secretly want to say, but you would never like say.
Okay.
And so I think it's that, right? Like, that is the world that we're living in, in this world of just personal branding. It is you leaning into more of who you are.
Right.
And in carving that path, but also using your wardrobe as a career strategy and also a business strategy, and quite frankly, just to feel good.
Right. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm a strong proponent of saying, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can definitely do more. So your whole look is definitely going to drive you, whatever you may do, whether it's your, level up on the corporate ladder, or if it's to build that empire of whatever your thing is. Like, it sounds like God, his empire is petty. So I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just like a point of like contention in the sense, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, and I think that it was like years ago when everybody's like, the title of their book had some sort of a curse word in it, a little bit of the Gary V, and then of just, just that shock value. And there's different ways to get that without, the language and doing different things, because really what you're doing is evoking an emotion. And the final thing that I wanted to say was about that is, in The Secrets of a Well-Dressed Brand, the book, we talk about this study where it really shows that we think both with our brains and, with our bodies. And so it's the clothing itself, right? That Louis Vuitton bag is not the thing that's giving you the power. It's the meaning that you're giving the thing.
Right.
And so, I think that understanding that's why it's so important to make sure you have these items in your closet that make you feel good or empowered or whatever you need in that season of your life. You need to be able to slip it on and say, I don't feel strong today, but when I wear this blazer, it makes me feel very powerful. Or, I don't feel so good today, but when I put on this cozy fleece lined sweatshirt, this makes me feel like my best self.
Right.
So
yes. I love it. Awesome. Well, girl, this was great. I mean, I love the information that you shared with us, and just the thought process, the shifting of the mindset of how our dress can really affect truly our brand, how we feel about ourselves, and how people perceive us as well. I just think that is absolutely awesome. Tell us a little bit more about your book and how folks can get it.
You can get it on Amazon. It is called, again, Secrets of a Well-Dressed Brand: The Art of Increasing Your Perceived Value. So it goes into all of the studies around color and image, and again, how you set up your closet, how you pricing things for your business, what kind of personal brand are you? Are you luxury? Are you at the couture level?
Right.
Are you an everyday girl? We talk a lot about all those different things in here. It really is, it really lays the foundation for your personal brand, helping you to do all the things that Tom Peters talked about, years ago, about being able to market yourself in a way and think of yourself as a product.
Okay, I love it. And then for those that want to go above and beyond the book, what other things do you offer in your product line?
So we have, if you, like this and feel like you and your coworkers, this is something that, you'd love to see your work, paid for you.
Right.
There's a Secret of a Well-Dressed Brand workshop where we come in and we do the Fascination Advantage, which is an assessment test that shows you how the world sees you.
Okay.
It's the only assessment test like that in the world. So there's a workshop where you get the book, and we go through deeply in color and things like that. There's also one-on-one coaching, that we do where I'm building your personal brand for you, meaning that you get a very customized branding deck that has a lookbook for you, all of the information, verbiage for your brand. It's a great tool to have before you build your website. It's a great tool to have as you're navigating your career.
Right.
When I stumbled upon it, it really helped me to really be able to explain to my boss why I was so valuable and how I added value to the team. So
Love it. Yeah, it is so important to know what value we add and then be able to be confident enough to ask for that value. So I absolutely love that. Love it, love it, love it. Well, Toy, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of wisdom with us. And those of you who are watching, if you know of anyone you would like me to interview, by all means, let me know. Drop a message in the DM and share their information so I can get in contact with them and share them with you. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.